it's Amy Sherman from MLive and Michigan's Best, and we are continuing our series focusing on the cool businesses that Founders Crafted in Michigan program is bringing to you. We're highlighting different businesses from across Michigan. These are artisan craftspeople who are making cool things or doing great things all across our state. And right now we are super excited to welcome Miss Suzanne with us from Beer City Dog Biscuits, an awesome company based in Grand Rapids. Welcome, Suzanne.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Well, I have to say, for those who are unaware of your company, it is a top seller in our house with our two dogs. They love Beer City Dog Biscuits. Tell us how your company got started.
Well, thank you, Amy. I'm so glad they enjoy it. Well, our company started with my dear friend, Leslie Hooker, and I. We've been friends for 40 years. And I have been in the educational consulting business for 20 years, and I help families with children with disabilities transition, through school and beyond. My son is autistic. He's 24 years old, and Leslie has a son who is blind and fine motor issues and a little bit of cognitive. So together, we have not only been friends, but we have been working together to look at what opportunities were outside of school and what they could be doing. And so after doing a lot of research and trying to figure out what our boys will be doing beyond high school and then beyond the age of 26, Michigan supports students with disabilities until the age of 26. And we realized there really was not much out there, not only for job opportunities, but also for living. And we decided that we committed to each other and our husbands that we would do what we could to change that and create a business. So we were brainstorming at my kitchen table, and I had a friend in Ohio that had given me a sample of dog biscuits that were made by a special ed class. And we just started brainstorming, and really within an hour, we had come up with a recipe and a name, and felt that it was a great product because we're not governed by the FDA. So we didn't have to go through a lot of hoops to create, a sterilized kitchen and such like that. It's only governed by the ag department. And with our population, it is a little bit more difficult to get them to follow protocol exactly. Mm-hmm. So we also felt it not only was the recipe simple, the process was simple, it was also something that we didn't have to really worry too much about. Now, the ag department definitely has regulations of its own, but they're not as stringent as the FDA. So we realized that we could reach out to the not only existing programs that were in the Kent ISD, but also adult foster care homes and other transition programs that could provide us with our volunteer staff, our brew bakers is what we call them.
Oh, I love that. So you guys really came up with this business. It's a very, very personal business for you. I mean, you designed it almost specifically for your sons in mind.
Absolutely, we did, because we wanted for our boys what we want for our other children, to be happy, to give back, to feel fulfilled and to feel that they have a purpose. And that's the whole basis of why we chose to create this business. And we want it to be sustainable, something that will continue to move with them and give opportunities to other adults with disabilities as well.
That's amazing. I'm gonna tear up. Now, your brew bakers, about how many brew bakers do you have currently, and how do you go about all this? You said you came up with your recipe and idea all in about an hour.
We did. Well, it's things obviously, as you can imagine, it pivoted a little bit with the COVID. But prior to that, we started out with our two boys, and we've had a generous opportunity with Central Reformed Church in downtown Grand Rapids. They've provided us with their commercial kitchen as a donation. So we initially got that space, and we started out with our two boys. And prior to COVID, we had 85 brew bakers coming through our kitchen on a weekly basis.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what we've really concentrated on while we're staying at home is how can we change our model and pivot, because they are they will be more apt to feel shut in than most of us. Now, we've all felt shut in the last several months, of course, but they have a tendency to be more shut in because there are not opportunities. They can't independently get out and walk around, or even, they're not necessarily going to the grocery store. A lot of the adult foster care homes that they live in, because they're governed by the state, they have to stay in like a nursing home. So, and for them to be shut in and not have that communication or daily routine and activity, they can regress in their skills. So we really worked hard at changing that. And now what we're doing is, since they can't come to us, we're going to them. We are taking dough and molds and packing equipment and stickers and everything, and we're delivering them to all those adult foster care homes. And also now some of the centers are open to the centers, so they can feel productive. And it's so wonderful. Leslie and I both are getting messages from our brew bakers on Facebook or texts saying, I want to come back, I miss you. And they want to work. They really do. So
well, we all miss the routine, and I can imagine for someone who's autistic, it's even harder. But I love that you're packing it up and you're bringing Beer City Dog Biscuits to them.
Yes. The blessing is we had a large amount of inventory prior to the shutdown. Mm-hmm. And we also had the wherewithal to create a website. So we had an online shopping opportunity regardless of COVID. But the nice thing is then when we're ready, we were ready to sell, and we've increased our online sales by 100%.
Oh my gosh.
And which has been wonderful. The community has been great in really supporting us. And, now we are in over 60 stores across the state of Michigan. We've got a wonderful relationship with Pet Supply Plus here on this side of the state. And so we ship to their Dallas stores, as well as Appleton, Wisconsin, and Mobile, Alabama. And then on the west side of Michigan, a wonderful company called Premier Pet Supplies in the Detroit area. They have 6 stores, and they have really been great promoters of us as well. So for those, because pet food is an essential business, we've been able to distribute and give it to those types of stores. It's, unfortunately, it's a small little independent owners that, have either gone, closed shop, or, just hasn't been able to, do more orders. But it's really pushed us and trying to, how can we market ourselves differently? Mm-hmm. And reach out to that, beyond the state of Michigan. And it's been great. We also had an opportunity. We were ready to launch a new flavor prior to COVID, and we launched it during COVID.
Really?
And it's been very successful. Yes.
Well, do tell. What's the new flavor?
The new flavor is blueberry flaxseed.
Oh, I was not expecting that. I was thinking like liver and onions.
Yeah, no, dogs love blueberries. And, we wanted something healthy, mm-hmm. Something that, we could, and also easily access and get. We have the opportunity here in West Michigan, access to blueberries. And so it's been a great, it's also easy to add to the recipe. which is
So
another
let's
thing.
talk about that recipe. Let's talk about how you make these biscuits and what makes them special or maybe a little bit different for dogs to enjoy.
Well, it's an all natural product. It has peanut butter, eggs and rice flour. And then we have donated spent grains from Founders Brewing Company. And that's where our relationship starts. You know, after Leslie and I had that hour of brainstorming, we said to each other, well, where are we going to get the spent grains from? And I looked at her and said, hey, let's start at the top and see if they're going to be willing to donate. And, you know, my family had it's a sort of a distant relationship with Dave Engbers. Mm-hmm. So I just sent him an email and said, can we meet? And he was gracious enough, because he's just that type of a person, to say, come on in and let's talk. So Leslie and I went in and we told him our big idea, and he jumped right on it. And he was trying to really manage, because they do such a large production that they shoot their spent grains into large trucks and sell it to farmers. So for feed, for animals. And we didn't obviously need a truckload. So we are getting the spent grains from the tap room, because they do individual beers exclusively for the tap room. So we pick them up once a week. And, prior to COVID, we had our brew bakers picking them up. And, we try to do as much as we can to get the brew bakers out in the community. So they were picking up spent grains. They also do our local deliveries, and they sell at the farmers market. So besides making the biscuits, they are out in the community, because that's important for everyone to understand, who they are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, as a chef, I got to ask you, what's your favorite beers, spent grains to use in the dog biscuits? Like, do you prefer a brown ale to an IPA, or?
Well, interesting. We don't always know what we're getting. Mm-hmm. It depends on what their brewing cycle is, but there's a very distinctive color between, the brown ales and the IPAs. The brown ales are sweeter.
That makes sense. So absolutely.
The biscuits are sweeter. And trust me, we've all tasted them. I mean,
I've heard that. I interviewed someone from Founders, and he said that when you guys came up with the recipe and brought him in, that Dave brought him around to everyone, at corporate headquarters, and made everyone try them.
He did. And he's so funny. He came in to work with the brew bakers one morning, and right out of the oven, Dave stuck his hand right in there and popped him. He says he prefers it warm.
Okay. That's awesome. How many different flavors do you guys make of the biscuits?
Right now, just two. We've got
two.
Our original, and then we have blueberry.
The blueberry flaxseed. Yeah. Okay.
And it's, what happens, it's all about the production, and our timing. We're subject to school programming and center-based programming, so we have to end the production at 2:00.
Oh, okay. Because you have students who are working with you, and then they go home. Okay. But all of that is on its head because of the COVID thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's been incredibly hard. I mean, you can't even really plan for the fall at this point, because you don't know what's going to happen, right?
You're absolutely right. That's why we had to quickly pivot and try to do the best that we can to get it to them. And, they're so grateful, but it'll be interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for everyone, for sure. So I have to ask you, I'm also a mom. Here you guys come up with this idea for your sons. What was their response? Were they excited, or were they like, Mom, what are you doing?
That's a wonderful question. And we've never been asked that question before. Hannes Hooker is a rock star, super salesman, an incredibly positive young man, and he was thrilled. My son, being autistic, of course, that was out of his routine. What are you doing? Basically, he had a lot of why questions.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think the wonderful thing is the two of them make a great team. Hannes is a wonderful salesman and spokesman for Beer City. And Gavin is mass producer. I mean, he is an incredible biscuit maker. You give him a task and a time frame in which to do it, he will double it. So together, you know, they led by example to the other brew bakers.
That's fantastic. Now, is your guys' goal eventually to have you and Leslie kind of move out of your positions and allow the boys to take over? Or is this something that it's going to be a family business for forever as you move through this?
Another great question. We would eventually, you know, like to step back and, you know, just oversee. Our sons and the brew bakers don't necessarily have the capabilities to run a business. We currently have 2 part-time employees. We've got an office manager and a kitchen manager. But what we ultimately love to do is have our own facility. So we can, you know, right now we actually have a waiting list. From the 85 people, we have an additional waiting list of people that want to come. So we could double our, you know, people that come to the kitchen. But we've had a lot of people across the country and actually in Canada asking us to franchise.
Ooh, I love this.
And so that would be something that we'd love to do. First step, move into our own facility. Second step, you know, we're in the process of writing down our processes and creating a model. So then pushing to other parts of the, you know, whoever is interested. It's fascinating about the first interest was from Canada.
That is really interesting. I love that. Well, it seems like there's a huge lack of opportunities for young adults as they kind of age out of the system to perform work that's appropriate and to have that connection that would work out. I mean, I think that's a brilliant idea to franchise. You go, girl.
Yeah. Well, you know, hoping and praying. It's on our, you know, prayer list. Let's do it. Right.
I love that. Well, that was another question I had is what do you see in the future of Beer City Dog Biscuits? What are some of your plans that you're making? Here comes my dog right here. Hello.
I love it. Mine's right down here.
They always have to come in right when I'm doing the interview.
Of course.
Right. So what do you see as your plans for the future that maybe immediately, one is to probably get through COVID, of course, and figure that out, and then beyond?
You're right. Immediately is COVID and really trying to continually to find different ways to engage with the current brew bakers because we don't want to lose them, you know, not only physically, we don't want to lose them emotionally. But I definitely a big push for us is to find our own facility. We had an opportunity to work with a company that gave us a model, a plan, and we had a bunch of stakeholders that came together, including brew bakers, to find, you know, what would be a dream facility. And so we would love to do that. We'd like to also, at some point, originally when you'd asked me that question, we'd like to create a living community that our boys could be in, and that community would hopefully be integrated either with some low-income housing and associated with a senior living community, because we feel that that is a great partnership. They could support each other, and it's volunteer opportunities and work opportunities in both places. So that would ultimately be our dream, is that we're not only providing a work space for them, but we're providing a living and safe place for them as well that's integrated, very diverse, not only disabilities, but, you know, whoever has an opportunity to be there. And that's our ultimate goal, because we want, as I said, for them to be as independent as possible and have the same opportunities that our other children have. So
I I'm just astounded that a tiny little dog biscuit can spur so many huge dreams. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So what's it been like? I mean, you've been working with founders since the very beginning, but what's it been like with the Crafted in Michigan campaign that they started? Have you seen a little jump in, exposure and sales with your partnership there?
Absolutely. They have been a good part of our online increase, of our sales.
Your 100% increase.
Absolutely, and growing. And so besides biscuits, we also have swag, t-shirts and hats and different things. And so they have been, their founders' exposure is tremendous. And, a lot of people who drink beer also have dogs.
What are you trying to say? No.
We've got this great, as a matter of fact, we've got this great bottle opener that says, have a beer with your best friend. And, that has our logo on it. But they've been an integral part of us growing our online business and helping to really survive during this COVID. And we're surviving, we're making it happen. We're doing it. We can't let these adults down. Leslie and I feel a tremendous responsibility from what we started to keep it going, because they need it. They need it. Oh my goodness, so much.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck. Suzanne, if people want to get more information about Beer City Dog Biscuits, maybe figure out where they can order some or purchase some from a store, or learn more about the program in general, where should they go?
They can go to beercitydogbiscuits.org. We're a nonprofit company, and 100% of our proceeds go right back into the business. We do not, Leslie and I don't take a dime. We just, make sure that this company is sustainable. So please, beercitydogbiscuits.org, and you'll be able to wag the swag to buy product, and you'll see videos, and you'll see our brew bakers, and you'll see our dogs.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to check it out. Thank you so much, Suzanne, for joining us. We so appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Amy, for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. If you want to learn more about Beer City Dog Biscuits or the Crafted in Michigan program, you want to head to mlive.com.